You're never going to believe this. Fox News now confirming Biden aides found a second batch of misplaced classified documents. Huh? Really? This after lawyers found about 10 documents in November at one of his old offices. The when, where, and what of the second batch, totally unknown. Earlier today, reporters hounded White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre about the first batch. Watch this.
Has he looked into whether any other documents have been taken to any other office that he has, whether in Wilmington or Rehoboth?
I'm just not going to speak to this. I'm going to let the process continue. It's an ongoing process, and so I'm just not going to speak to this from here. It is more prudent and more appropriate for my colleagues at the White House Counsel.
No, you should go ahead and speak to it. That's your job. You're the speaking person. You speak on behalf of the president, who obviously has lots of documents willy-nilly all over this great land. Now, keep in mind, lawyers found the first batch before the midterms. Biden says he's surprised. What?
People know I take classified documents and classified information seriously. I was briefed about this discovery and surprised to learn that there were any government records that were taken there to that office. But I don't know what's in the documents. I've turned over the boxes. They've turned over the boxes to the archives, and we're cooperating fully with the review.
Oh, a bit of a tell there. So it wasn't just a folder, multiple boxes. And the White House still doesn't have any answers?
How could anyone be that irresponsible? Isn't that what this president says about mishandling classified documents?
The president spoke to this personally.
How can President Biden be trusted moving forward with America's secrets?
Because his lawyers, his team did the right thing.
But he had a closet with classified
his
information
lawyers
in
did
it
the
that
right
they found. How did it get there?
Again.
Did the lawyers do
He
the
was
right
surprised
thing?
that the records were there. He spoke to this.
He was surprised. Who put him there? Is he surprised about that too? Who the hell has been handling classified information we don't know if it's locked, we don't know if it's in a box, we don't know if a Gox and socks has been peeping in that box. Former President Trump has a classified document doozy of his own. No one's excusing that dum-dum. But who looks worse right now? Let's break it down with the man panel. We've got, oh no, it's not the man panel. There's a lady on here. It's not Jason Rantz. He identifies as Jason Rantz. He's the host of the Jason Rantz Show. It is Jason Rantz. Look at that Space Needle. That's what she said. And we also have the host of the Aggressive Progressive podcast, former aide to Senator Chuck Schumer. He's always happy, even when he's fighting. It's Christopher Hahn. And there she is, the co-founder of Based Politics. The wonderful Hannah Cox is back on the showroom, keeping you boys in check. So, Jason, I will start with you. I think this is problematic, not that there were 10 documents, and who knows what was in there. Apparently some of them were top secret. Everyone wants to get up in arms when it's the opposing party. My problem is that the president has no idea how they got there, and they were in a folder marked personal. That's problematic, is it not?
It is certainly problematic. That suggests that you don't take this seriously, that you're treating this willy-nilly like any other document, like some memo you might get, you just sort of store away. That is rather odd. It shows a blatant disregard for national security. But I think what is equally problematic is the fact that we have bad faith partisans claiming that there's no similarity between what's going on here and what happened with Trump and the coverage that is happening here and that what happened with Trump. They do that because they know that equally bad faith news outlets will allow them to pretend that that is true. The two cases are not identical, but they are similar. And we didn't learn about this before the election because the Biden team knows that the cases are similar. They hid this the same way that they tried to hide the Hunter Biden laptop story by telling us, it was Russian disinformation.
Jason,
well, now they're just saying it's not serious.
But it could have influenced voters before the midterms if they thought that the president was guilty of the very same thing that his attorney general, who is under the executive branch, who reports to the president, is investigating the president's chief political opponent, according to the Wall Street Journal, for the exact same thing. Not only is that a problem, Christopher, it's also a gift to number 45, is it not?
I have to agree. It is a gift. because even though there are differences here, you have to explain them. And in politics, if you're explaining, you're losing. And quite frankly, it's not worth the fight to even try to explain them because it seems too similar, and people will just think you're backpedaling on something to try to save yourself. I will add that President Biden did not commit sedition on the way out the door of being vice president.
We don't know.
So I was a little less concerned about what documents he may have, whereas the other guy committed sedition on the way out the door.
Okay, but you don't know what's going to happen when this president leaves office. You can't. And also, a difference between being president and being vice president is when you're president, you have the power to declassify things. You also have the power to enjoy many documents according to the Presidential Records Act, which the vice president cannot enjoy. So in that regard, it is more of a problem. But, Hannah, I think they all do it. I think they all leave with stuff. I think they all know a lot. I think they shove things in a little boxes and folders, hoping no one will look there because it might at some point be problematic when people start snooping. Your thoughts?
I mean, I think that is an excellent guess. I also think that in D.C. they classify everything because they don't want to have to hand over information. Yeah. They don't want to turn things over under Freedom of Information Act. So I don't even really care, if I'm being totally honest. This is one of those times where, as a libertarian, you kind of watch the Democrats and Republicans go back and forth at each other, and you're just thinking, can we talk about things that actually matter, right? I do think it's a problem that Biden was weaponizing the government once again, trying to go after a political enemy, having his attorney general go through Trump's house and find these documents. And so it's very funny. He has egg on his face now and got caught basically doing the same thing. But at the end of the day, nobody is dying because of these documents. Nothing is changing because of these documents. Meanwhile, these politicians are actively wrecking our economy, making all of our lives worse. And I'm just ready for our politics to actually focus on the real things that matter for once, instead of this tribal bickering and escalations.
Like Prince Harry, do you really think he was bred just for spare parts in case William needed a kidney? There's a lot of inbreeding. A lot of inbreeding there. So, maybe he's got a point. All right, party panel, please go nowhere. We have so much show for you to enjoy. And coming up next.